3, 2, 1, go!
Hi! I am Paul's wife, and today I'm here to show you guys how to color 3D prints quickly. In the past, I've colored a couple of 3D prints that Paul made. He thought they were pretty good, so I thought I'd show you guys how I did it. So the ones I did were low poly Pokemons. He printed them on a gray PLA?
Yeah.
Gray PLA plastic. This is how they looked like before they were colored. You can tell they're low poly, so they're not super detailed. They're kind of clunky and blocky, and they're very small. And I don't have all of the colored ones with me because our toddler loves to play with these, so a couple of them got lost. So I have a Charmander and the Squirtle, although the Charmander lost the flame on its tail. No! So anyway, today I'm going to be showing how I did this, and I'll be doing a Squirtle because this is too tiny. I'm not going to be using paintbrushes, but instead I'll be using paint pens. Specifically, oil-based paint pen by Sharpie. We had these from the past from doing something else, and basically these are just pens that has oil paint inside them. And because it is oil-based, it doesn't dry super quickly, so it's easier to also mix colors if you don't have all of the colors. In this smaller version, if you can see, there isn't a whole lot of color mixing going on, mainly his blue skin and his shell. I think aside from that, I didn't do a lot of color mixing. I'm looking at a picture of Squirtle on the computer screen, and his eyes are always shaded. Although his eye color is supposedly like reddish, orangish.
What's with that one in the middle?
That one?
Yeah, it's when he's possessed by a demon. Never mind, it's off topic.
Off topic. I'm going to start out with the lightest color, aside from the outline of his shell, which is his belly. To bring out that color, the best, easiest way to do is start with the white. So I'm going to go over the belly part with the white pen. And now because of this kind of model, there isn't really a clear outline as to where certain body parts begin and certain body parts end. So I'm going to determine his body, his belly part, starts from this angle right here, right under his neck. And then I'm going to guess right here is where his arm starts. So we're going to go in with the white just lightly. It doesn't have to be too super opaque. And then we're going to go in with the yellow on top of that, and that'll lighten up the yellow so it's not super yellow, and hopefully it'll give me that color I'm looking for, which is more of a lemony yellow. One downside about painting on a gray PLA is that unless you're using really vivid and like darker color or really super bright colors, it's really hard to hide the gray underneath. Especially with colors like yellow, no matter how many layers you do, it's really hard to cover up the gray. Even though I said I'm not using paintbrushes here, sometimes it comes in handy to use a little bit of paintbrush. A small one like this, although I don't know if I can use this one because it's green in it. But I'll see if I can blend out the edges a little bit. That doesn't really work. So I'll try to do with the pen as much as I can. With these kind of models where it creases, it's really hard to get into the corners. So it's really hard to really get nice edges. And to show you how it doesn't really cover up the gray, here is an example. This is a Pikachu I did like 2 weeks ago, I think. And this is like maybe 2 or 3 layers of just yellow, and you can still see the gray underneath. So it will be easier to start with a white plastic like this one, and you can see the colors show up really nicely, and you don't have to worry about like a gray undertone going on, like they're sick or something. Or you can go the super easy way and get printed out in yellow and not do that.
By easy, you
Paul.
mean the smart way. What? I didn't screw it up on purpose.
Okay, so the next step I'm going to do his blue body. So even the blue, it's not a super vivid bright blue, and this is a really, this is their color aqua. How fitting for a Squirtle. But I'm going to go over with the white again, because just this will probably not cover up the gray very well. The one thing about oil-based pen is that because they don't dry very quickly, once you begin to paint most of the figure, you have to really be careful because your hand can easily smudge the paint, since your fingers tend to be warm and for some people a little bit sticky. And then I'll go over it with the blue. And I'll just do the head first because I don't want that white to quite dry off yet. It's easy to do it when they're really, really wet. This would be a lot easier if you actually use actual paint in the paintbrush, but this is, as we said, the quick way to do it. Not bad, just quick. Quick and easy.
Quick and easy, especially useful when your kids are going to definitely lose or ruin them in 20 minutes.
Although I didn't think we printed out thinking that it was going to be our kids' toys.
No, I was looking for test prints, and then they immediately became kids' toys as soon as the kids saw them.
But what do you do? Well, they're Pokemons.
But I wanted the toys.
When do you get to play with them?
I don't know. Quit crushing my dreams. I want to be a Pokemon master, like no one ever was.
You want to be the very best? Disappointingly, I don't know the whole lyrics.
I think more depressingly, I do know the whole lyrics.
So there's the face. Oh, okay, I'm getting the blue on my finger. And I won't be using a paintbrush on this model, but typically I like to use a paintbrush so I can get to little corners and it's easier for me to do the details with paintbrush, but I don't have a clean one on hand to do it, so I'm not going to be using one. Places like this, where it's like a little crease between the shell and arm, it's hard to get to with this tip, even though this is supposedly their fine tip.
So in our first take of this, I may have implied that I hypnotized my wife into loving me.
That's not how it works.
She was not amused by my story. Just imagine how amused she'll be when she snaps out of it.
You think I'm still hypnotized?
No? Now the real story is very, very different.
Very.
It involves violins, and music, and singing, and a pumpkin carving contest where we sort of cheated our way to victory.
We didn't cheat.
We creatively interpreted the rules. So there, learn to play violin, learn to carve pumpkins, and true love will also be yours.
That year, I think, you guys know Paul has long locks. He had long locks in college too, and that season particularly, he was using some kind of shampoo that I think is now discontinued, that gave him very nice locks.
Maybe it contained arsenic or something
Like
dangerous.
ringlets.
Boom, used to be gray. And it's so easy, an idiot can do it while filming someone else doing it too. Oh yeah, also Guitar Hero. Get really good at Guitar Hero. That worked for me.
You think that worked for you?
Hey, I was really good at Guitar Hero, and now I'm married. Correlation doesn't prove causation, but it doesn't not prove causation either.
But here's me saying that wasn't part of it.
Sure.
I can tell you this, it certainly wasn't the long hair.
Wah, wah.
I thought about cutting his hair to sleep, but I'm not that mean.
What? Hey, this is what happens when you try to be an artist, at least for me. You end up with zombie horror Pikachu. See that? I would like to set straight for the record, this was due to a faulty pen and not from gross incompetence.
He knew it was a faulty pen before. I told him that it was broken.
Okay, faulty pen and gross incompetence. Fine.
So now I'm going to go into the shell. So for the shell, I'm going to be using two colors. I'm going to use the brown first, and then I will mix in with the orange, because his shell is not really orange, but it's also not super brown either. Try not to get into the super edges, because you don't want, even though you're doing it quickly, you want it to look nice and clean, though, as much as you can. That's enough for the brown. Now we're going to go with the orange. I thought it was going to mix better, but I feel like the orange is not really mixing all that well with the brown right now. I think as it's setting, it's getting a little darker, so I think that's a better color, yeah. That's what the cool thing about oil paint pens. If you try to do it with a Sharpie, you won't be able to do it because Sharpie would dry up immediately. That's the shell. Now I'm going to do the outline of the shell, which if you look at it, it's basically like it looks like a whitish color. But instead of going with white, I'm going to do silver. And I know it's silver on gray, but it does make a difference. And the last part I'm going to do is his eyes. And the reason why I didn't do his eyes right away is because I wanted his face to dry off enough so that I can touch it without smudging the paint. Now his eyes are actually he has like a reddish eyes that's always kind of casted with black on the top. So I'm going to first go in with the white first. With these low poly Pokemon, their eyes are not sticking out. It's indented in. Okay, that's the white. I'm going to paint the inner corners his eye color. This is not what I'm expecting it to. It's hard to get to that corner with this fat tip. Now the black I have is actually I think it's their extra fine tip. But it's broken, so I'm going to do it very gently. I think the eye just kind of ruined the Pokemon here. I apologize. Uh-oh, almost about to ruin it even more here.
Then stop. Quit while you're ahead.
Oh, I'm so close to doing.
What are you doing? Mad woman. What a risk.
Okay, done. Here is the finished product. The eyes are kind of messy, but you can see he has all his colors. You can paint the bottom, so there's no actual gray showing, unless you look really hard. alongside Pikachu, alongside Bulbasaur. I actually like how I did Bulbasaur's eyes, not too bad.